Welcome to Ignite Success, where we meet with successful business owners to uncover their path to success as well as the pitfalls along the way. And today we have Dr. David Wilcox with us, author of How to Avoid Being a Victim of the Healthcare System. I am your host, Wendy Barlin. Welcome, Dr. Wilcox.
Thank you, Wendy. I'm looking forward to our discussion today.
So your book sounds fascinating. I can't wait to dive in. But as a prelude, how did this topic become important to you?
So after almost 30 years in the healthcare business, I saw a lot of things. I saw a lot of avoidable errors. I saw a lot of stressed out clinicians, and I saw a lot of people that weren't educated enough to be able to enter the American healthcare system and remain safe in it, whether that be going to the hospital or whether that be dealing with an insurance company who's denying your claim, or a pharmacy benefit manager who tells you that you can't have the chemo the doctor prescribed because it's not cost effective. So I just decided to break it down into layperson's terms and write a book that people could actually pick up and use as a healthcare manual.
I love that. Thank you so much. Well, now I'm probably going to need my highlighter when I read it, right? Because I think we've all encountered one or many of those situations in our own lives. So in
That's
your
correct.
experience, is there somewhere else in the world that would be a model for us as America? Is there somewhere that's doing it right that we could look at and say that would be a better solution?
I think that there's a couple aspects to that question. One is that we could keep costs down for the American public if we were using more of a barter system. I don't think that America will ever switch to socialized medicine, and I'm not saying that that's the solution either. But we do have some things going on in this country that are really working for us, such as value-based care. So in the current system in fee-for-service, I only make money when you show up sick, right? So if you don't show up sick, like we saw in the pandemic, the government has to bail you out. But there is an aspect called value-based care, which actually saved $4.1 billion in the height of the pandemic in 2020, because they get a capitated amount and then they have skin in the game to keep you healthy. So they get to keep the profit if they can keep you out of the hospital. And that's something only 25% of Americans even know about. But under our current system, we're set up for failure because nobody makes money unless you show up.
That's very interesting. As a CPA and tax accountant for the last 25 years, I've worked with many physicians. I've also encountered many students graduating, coming out of med school and coming to me and saying, Wendy, I'm ready to start my own practice. And as much as people might assume these doctors are making a lot of money, many of them are not. And at the end of the day, after their costs of doing business, they don't walk away with a whole lot. And like you say, they're being worked and worked and worked, and they're not left with a lot of money at the end of the day. It definitely, I saw that in my client base, and it always hurt my heart to see this disconnect between the giving of a doctor and how much money they made at the end of the day. What would be the very first thing that you think needs to happen, Dr. Wilcox, for Americans to get the care that they need?
So the first thing I think is you have to proactively be educated on the American healthcare system. So again, that's why I wrote the book, How to Avoid Being a Victim of the American Healthcare System. But I also think that you need to Google accountable care organizations in your community. And that's just a fancy term for a bunch of doctors that get together in a group to keep you in network and share the profit of the capitated amount they get for you. Because the statistics show that if you're in a value-based care arrangement, you're going to do better than the average American who is under fee-for-service. And
wow,
getting back to your,
thank you. So that is really an important nugget. We will post the link to your book in the show notes. Thank you so much, Dr. Wilcox, for sharing that valuable information with us today. We all, as Americans, need to take responsibility for our own health. This has been
Yes.
Ignite
And Wendy,
Success with Dr. David Wilcox. I am Wendy Barlin, your host. We hope to see you soon.